Well, Matt, nothing says Summer Game Fest like pouring rain outside and frigid temperatures. This is the reality of the Pacific Northwest. I know you open your window like once every few months or so, but
I don't know. I never open my window because that's where the allergies are,
mhm.
and I don't want any of that coming inside.
Yeah, well, I know you invested in some wood and nails a while back just to kind of like board it up, just
Ah,
close it
yes.
off, make sure nobody can get in. Um, yeah, what do you go outside recreationally for,
Yeah, I went.
yeah.
I literally went for a walk, and then I didn't regret it, but I kind of regretted it because I had to take a shower immediately after because my eyes were on fire.
Yeah. Dude, it's not fair. I feel like sometimes the human species wasn't built for this planet. Like you go outside and you're just like, my eyes are burning, my nose is running, I feel like garbage now. Like
I feel
people
like if
were
we were probably exposed to it like all the time, it wouldn't be a big deal. You know, like if we were always outside 100% of the time, like our bodies be like, all right, I can't be like this all the time. But I don't know. I don't know.
maybe everybody just had runny noses all the time and
Maybe they
that was
did.
just the norm. And just like, what's up, runny nose Matt? And
Yep.
that's just
That's
what
what
you
they call.
were.
That's what they called me in high school and other worse things.
It's a good nickname. It's a solid nickname. Could be worse.
It's a terrible nickname. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's really bad. It's really bad. So we had the non E3. It's so weird. It's funny
It's
that we're in.
basically E3 now.
Yeah.
It's the new E3. I mean, they have PlayStation, Xbox, the big hitters, and then they had Summer Game Fest with Jeff right in the middle, and it's great.
hmm I feel like we're gonna be the old. We're kind of the old guys now. We're like, remember E3 back in the day, and people are like, what? What are you talking about? It's Summer Games Fest, bro.
Yeah.
So basically, it's the week in which all the major game publishers show off all their big AAA and AA games and all that stuff. And there's a lot coming out. There's a lot coming out before and after GTA 6, but there is a lot coming out. There's
The
just a
amount of
noticeable
titles that are
pocket.
launching in September and October is way too high.
Yeah.
Way too high.
I was reading an article about how the saturation of releases for these months is so extreme that they're like, they might just be losing out to each other more than they're going to lose
Yeah.
out to GTA 6.
That's what I was thinking as well. It's like, I know Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be massive and everyone's going to be playing it, but like not everyone's going to play it and like not the entire month. You guys probably one or two of you could probably make your, you know, slide in alongside of it and still probably sell pretty well because now
Yeah.
you're competing with 50 other games instead of just one game. So I don't know how I'm not an economist, I'm not a marketer, I don't know how this works, but yeah, it does seem to be like they're putting all of their eggs on 1 or 2 months and we'll see what
Yeah.
happens.
It's not, I mean, either way, it's not a great situation, but I think GTA 6 is going to launch alongside like Escape from Duckov 2 or something. It'll be like one game comes out that month and it'll do all right because, it'll be completely unrelated. It'll be a roguelike card deck building game or whatever and be like, who cares? But yeah, okay, so the games, I mean, there's too many games, honestly, to even go over, but like some of the highlights, like Alien Isolation 2, graphics on that look crazy good. Atmospherics, like through the roof.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 7 Revelation.
Have you played any of the recent ones at all?
No. Last time I played Final Fantasy was the original Final Fantasy 7.
So a while.
It's been a while. Isn't it weird to think how
good.
old the franchise is when I'm like, the last time I played was the original 7th game. And that was in high school, I think, or middle school for me.
We get it. You're old.
Yeah. But no, I'm saying Final Fantasy is ancient, though. You know?
Yeah.
Like, my gosh.
Was there a game that you saw that you were like, damn, I want to play that?
There was Gears of War on the new Unreal. Looks cool. Yeah. I'm not a big God of War fan, but the new trailer looked cool.
Pretty sick. I like what I saw. Okay. I like what I saw.
Yeah.
But that trailer felt a little jarring. It didn't feel like a trailer because it starts off at literally slight spoilers, but this is spoilers for a game that's been out for a while, and it literally is the transition.
It's a trailer also. So
yeah, it's a trailer.
Yeah.
Well, I meant like it's spoilers to the beginning of God of War 2018, right? Like,
okay,
Kratos' wife is dead, and you play as her in the new God of War. But like her soul starts rising up into the heavens, and it becomes apparently the afterlife of gods, where she now has to fight other gods, which is sick. But that whole like trailer and like the progression of like she's alive, she's fighting little like small little creatures, and then she's fighting gods that quickly was very fast. So I feel like that trailer was just made for the event. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, they got to cover a lot of ground in a short period of time.
A lot of ground. So I don't think that'll actually be the beginning of the game, is what I'm trying to say. At least the way that we saw so quickly. And because of that, they're like the way they introduce characters like Frank, the cube. I'm like, oh, okay, this is a lot to take in quickly. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how I feel about Frank, because he's a cube, and they try to play a little bit more authentic and close, like this is kind of a more serious game, and now you have a cube companion, dare I say, a companion cube.
They're
if you want to go that far.
Yeah, I think the cube companion's a solid idea. I think it's growing in popularity. More games are getting cube companions. Is your PlayStation up to date? Because it's going to be a PlayStation exclusive, Matt.
Oh yes, yeah. Everything was now PlayStation, Xbox exclusive.
It's like we've gone back in time. We had this big moment where like Microsoft was like, you know what? We don't care about exclusives anymore. Yeah. Games on all platforms. And then Sony was like, should we do the same thing? And then they started to do the same thing, and everybody's like, this is great. We can play on whatever systems we own. Yeah. And now they're all like, you know what? Scratch that. Going back to exclusives. And now it's like, okay, well, now I have to look at games again as, well, I'm just not going to play that because I don't have a PlayStation or I don't have an Xbox, and that's that. I don't get to play those games.
I think the Xbox stuff is coming to PC. I think that's still going to happen because they have the PC Game Pass, right? But the PlayStation stuff is not, which is unfortunate. But yeah, it does suck, and God of War will be a PlayStation exclusive, like I assumed it would be. But yeah, it is too bad that we're not getting at least something on PC later down the line.
Mm-hmm. I do think, and it's so hard to say because of the way that prices on consoles and like say the Steam machine or the Steam Cube, whatever it's called, they're so high that they're gonna really slow down the adoption of Windows or Linux based consoles, essentially. But that really does feel like it's the inevitable future of gaming to a degree, where you're just like the benefits outweigh the cons too highly to let an Xbox or a PlayStation stick around for too much longer, where people are like, why am I buying this weird proprietary piece of hardware to play a very exclusive set of games on? I could be wrong. Nintendo's been kicking it around for quite a while.
I was going to say, they've been doing it for a while.
And Nintendo's never had the hardware advantage. They've always been like software. 5 years out of date when their hardware comes out. And you're like, okay, I guess. I mean, it plays games technically, but it's not impressive. So I don't know. It just seems weird that we're going back to exclusives. And I'm like, is this like a last stand for the consoles where they're like, we're going to stay relevant? I think it's this?
No, I don't think it's a last stand. I think it's just them solidifying that they realize that this is just how consoles are going to have to compete with each other. You need to have that competition, and it sucks for consumers because you have to kind of pick and choose, and that's unfortunate. But I didn't see this as like the death throw of the industry or anything like that.
Fair enough. Coming back to games that I think I'm most excited for, not gonna lie, Halo Campaign Evolved. Like, it's sort of a nostalgia pick for me.
Yeah, and the fact that there's gonna be like new missions too is kind of cool.
Yeah. Space combat allegedly will be a new aspect of the campaign of the OG Halo campaign. So it's not a remaster, it's a remake, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So the remake can take creative liberties with the original.
No, when you start remaking a game and you start adding new levels, you start getting into remastered territory.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'm mixing them up. I'm switching them around. The whole remake remaster thing is just yeah.
You're basically just saying how authentic is it to the original experience versus new content. So they're adding new content. And sure, could mess up the pacing, but let's be honest, the original Halo campaign had some weak parts to it as well. There's definitely levels where you're like, this level sucks. I don't want to play this level ever again. But I'm excited for that because the graphics look insane. From the gameplay that they've teased and shown off, it looks incredible. And it's just such an iconic campaign, the original one, that was really such a pivotal moment in like not only gaming culture, but like my life growing up. Like the release of Halo was like the release of Xbox and Bungie's major title, and like a complete transition for what we would think about the action first-person shooter experience, you know?
Yeah, I mean, Halo literally defined a generation and defined the way we play first-person shooters. Like, you know, so it was kind of a big deal. I just wish that the franchise was not now just nostalgia, and it wasn't just we're bringing back the old stuff, because we can't really seem to deliver on new stuff, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're doing both, and that seems to be what most franchises are doing now, which is like they'll release a game. People either love it or hate it, and then they'll be like, here's our old game remastered, and then everybody's like, yay, and then...
Or you'll do it like Capcom, and you'll just keep hitting it out of the park, where you're like, we're coming out with, here's a remake, here's a new game, here's a remake, here's a new game, and you're going to love all of them.
Well, I mean, and so is Final Fantasy VII Revelation, is that like an extension to the...
So it's 3 games, but it covers the full game of the first. So it extends it out and it adds content, but it is still the same story for my understanding, because I never played the original. I was too young, I didn't have money, and I never played it. And so, but to my understanding, it is basically just, we are telling the story of the first game, but we are adding more to it to make it 3 games.
Yeah. Now, and we're, just for the record, we're still covering all these games that were announced either during Summer Game Fest, PlayStation State of Play, or like the Microsoft thing. Did you, speaking of games that you never played, did you play Crazy Taxi?
I did, yeah. I did back in the day. I didn't own it. It was more like a demo, but I did play it, yeah.
Yeah, and I think it was an arcade game too, right?
Sounds right.
Say. Yeah, I don't know. The World Tour, Crazy Taxi World Tour that just got announced does tickle me a bit. Like, I'd like to check that out. I think there's actually good value in those types of delivery mission games where Crazy Taxi is like a perfect formula for it. I think the time trial stuff can get a little old or repetitive or uninteresting. So if they evolve the formula a little bit more, I don't know, be cool.
Yeah, it can be tough because at the end of the day, you're just driving, right? And you got to make that driving fun and interesting. And how do you do that? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or find different ways for fail states, right? Where instead of just the game pausing and being like, you lost, you know, it going like, oh, you missed your bonus, or you got 1 out of 3 stars, or whatever, you know. I think we found more engaging ways to not end the gameplay loop in a sort of like, you suck, nerd, and then like game over, right? That's kind of that's sort of the 90s, early 2000s way of playing video games, which was a little more hardcore.
Insert another coin.
Yeah. And a lot of the way that arcade games were designed influenced a lot of the way that console games were designed, and console games didn't really have to be designed in that way. Where they were just like all or nothing, you lose. You're like trying to play a campaign, you're like 2 hours in, you lose. It's like start over from the beginning. You're like, dang. Okay. It's like what we consider roguelikes now are like, that was every game, but you didn't get bonuses
there was no progression in between. Yeah, it was literally a roguelike. Yeah.
Challenge anyone to pick up Sega Genesis Lion King and play that game all the way through.
All the way through?
You will throw your controller against the wall, man.
No shot.
The game was so hard when I was a kid. It might be easy now by today's standards.
No, I think they designed it to be like insane because they wanted to pad out the content. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like jump sequences and fighting, and if you screw any of it up, you're like, okay, well, I have like 3 bars of life.
Yeah. What
are you going to do with that? It's so little life, you know. You got to eat those ladybugs, get your life back. But anyway, you know what I don't really follow MMO news that much because I ain't got time to be an MMO player these days, Matt. But
Guild Wars 3?
Guild Wars 3, I remember
Yeah.
when the first Guild Wars came out, and it was like this really sort of innovative alternative idea to the MMO, and
Yeah.
people were really into it. And I played it a bit, the OG. I didn't really play Guild Wars 2.
I did. I played a bit of
Yeah.
it.
And what'd you
Yeah.
think of Guild Wars 2?
I liked it. It was cool. I went into it mainly for the PvP, and then when I got to higher levels and I realized the more open world PvP was kind of lame, then I just pieced out because like this isn't. I was going after a Dark Age of Camelot. Like I
Yeah.
wanted to find my new Dark Age of Camelot, and it wasn't that at all. So I kind of
Nobody's really replicated that concept, have they?
Apparently, I think ESO, Elder Scrolls Online, has like
really?
keep battles and stuff like that. So yeah, I think some of the developers from Dark Age like went over and worked on that game. I could be wrong though because I haven't played it. But that's kind of what I've heard. But yeah, they're saying, and how many times we heard this, that this is the next evolution of MMOs. I'm like, okay, Guild Wars, maybe show and share how this is the next evolution of MMOs, please.
Did I mention that my game is also the next evolution of everything you've ever wanted in a video game too?
Everything?
I'm a marketing genius, Matt. It's the next evolution. Nice. So with Guild Wars 3, they didn't, the trailer's a little more cinematic than it is gameplay-y. In fact, I don't really think they show any gameplay in the trailer. But
there was no gameplay, to my understanding.
They did do a write-up on it and talk a little bit about it, which was the movement system in it. It looks like it's kind of like running, sliding, jumping, parkourish type mechanics, which is really uncommon in an MMO because they're trying to deal with netcode of like hundreds of people. But Guild Wars is a little different than traditional MMO. So when you like go into the space, it's more like a server for those players, I guess. So they're not dealing with some of the same challenges that the traditional massive scale MMOs handle. And so they're able to do some different stuff in Guild Wars, which is cool. But I like the idea of MMOs that have more timing and movement mechanics in them. Like that's always been something that's sort of unavailable to a degree to a lot of those games because of just netcode essentially. You know, they can't time stuff well. So it's like you're timing your ability bar, and that's most of the skill involved in a fight, right?
Right.
So I like that.
I guess that
it
would
looks
be
cool.
a evolution of MMOs, because like if I was playing on Warsong Gulch with my mage back in the World of Warcraft days, and I could like slide cancel my way across the. Can you imagine? Like World of Warcraft, but with slide canceling.
That's what Guild Wars is imagining, Matt. That's I mean, probably not the slide cancel stuff, but
you know what I mean. I'm poking fun.
Yeah, but I mean, that is kind of one of the lame aspects of an MMO. Is like you're all like, "Let's have a big battle, guys," and then you all like walk up to each other and you're like, "Press the sword button." Press the fireball button, you know.
But that's that's literally my favorite MMO of all time, Dark Age of Camelot. Like, so I hear what you're saying, but man,
obviously it's hugely successful and millions of people love it. But it's sort of I think the other system doesn't exist because there are technical limitations to it, and that's sort of what Guild Wars, even the original ones, sort of provided, was a slightly higher fidelity combat system. And so it looks like they're trying to take that further in Guild Wars 3. Super hard to make a judgment call based on what they showed because it was mostly just beauty shots of landscapes and like
it was
weird tiger dragon.
It was more of like a CGI trailer than anything else.
Yeah,
I think it said like in engine, but those are hard to read.
But I know I'm not going to play it probably, but I am more interested in like just following. I'm very curious about it. It's like one of my top curiosity games.
Yeah, fair enough.
That was revealed. Just because I don't got the time. It's not a dig against Guild Wars 3. It's just if I want to play it, I know I'm like 400 hours minimum locked in, you know?
Yeah.
And I ain't got that kind of time. I gotta play the new Spyro that's coming out, you know? Which I know was you're telling me before the podcast is your top pick, right? For all the new games. No. Did you play any of the Spyro games?
I actually have never played a Spyro game in my entire life.
Neither have
never,
I, so we can't really talk
never
about
got
it.
into that franchise.
Yeah. Other than it's the first new Spyro game since 2008, I think. So
has it been that long?
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there was a remake or a re-release or something.
I feel like there was remakes, but no, you're probably right. So there was a redesigned trilogy or reignited trilogy that came out in 2019. So.
Right, but that wasn't like an original thing. It was just like
right.
Hey, if you are having trouble playing these ancient games, here's an easier way to do it. Yeah. Okay, so new Spyro game coming back. There's definitely a lot of those classic games that I feel like some of those publishers that own those IPs are going to dip into at some point soon, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Sega's been sort of keeping the Sonic games alive-ish.
You see the, not to cut you off, but you see the War Dogs 30-minute gameplay trailer?
Yeah. War Dogs looks incredible.
It does look real solid. Yeah.
I
like that
everything
the trailer.
about it.
Yeah, I liked that the trailer was the devs just playing and showing off how goofy it can be too, because like it's clearly going to be a sandbox experience and with tactics, obviously. But it's like obviously you can build bases wherever you want. You can go wherever you want on this massive map and have your own like kind of story to tell. But to see them trying to get through a barricaded wall and then encounter another door that they have to blow up, and then a death pit, you know, in front of them with a bunch of barbed wire, and they just couldn't get past it, was like, that's what would happen with your buds, right? Like, so that was charming to see. The only thing I was a little bit kind of iffy on was the kill cam, which seems to be what a lot of feedback has been, is that this game is aiming to be a little bit more authentic, a little bit more hardcore, not as hardcore as something like Tarkov or Arma, but still, you know, authentic. And then to see a kill cam being like, hey, I know exactly where this guy was.
Yeah.
Especially when they've got what looks like ghillie suits and sniper rolls and stuff like that. That felt a little odd.
Let me buy an upgrade for my sniper that turns off their kill cam. That'd be sick.
There you go.
Because so what I like about the economy is they're not kind of beating around the bush. They're like, yeah, you get dollars for doing well. Like you get actual monies. And then you can upgrade your kit, you can buy vehicles, you can do all this stuff with it, and it very much translates into like the more you do, the more you achieve, the more money you get. But also, they're just fixing so many things that I've always had. I mean, I'm saying this without having played the game. I have no idea if the balance is good. Don't want to jump
too far
but theoretically, the way they are describing how the gameplay system works is like, it's basically been my gripes with Battlefield for so long, which is not properly awarding points in the game for the right actions. I think Battlefield has often really had that mixed up and not allocated things correctly, and they've encouraged the wrong type of gameplay, and they've discouraged certain types of gameplay, and they don't award players properly who are actually contributing the most to a victory versus people who are just following a giant bunch of players around getting cap points with them. You're like, that guy's on the top of the scoreboard just because he's been following a giant group of people around doing absolutely nothing. So this system seems like they have a lot more nuance to it, where the helicopter pilots can ferry people into combat. You get points for dropping people off in like combat zones. Then those people, if they go get kills, you will then get a cut of you'll get rewarded bonuses. So they're like making roles where you can be a logistics person, where you can be, I'm the guy who drives the Logi in and resupply stuff, or I'm the guy who ferries troops into combat and keeps them alive and gives them safe LZs. Because if you drop somebody in the middle of a hot LZ and they all die, well, you don't really get much points for that. So there's like an actual system for that. Is like they reward you for the success of your team. And I'm just like, this is cool. The devs are thinking through the logic that I've always wanted DICE to do, and DICE, for whatever reason, just has always kept it really simple.
I think the setting and the game modes that they're creating facilitates that more, because I don't think a Battlefield can really, because it's very arcadey. Battlefield's always been arcadey. And so it'd be much harder to be able to pull that off. But I do hear you. And I think that's why the game mode they've chosen is a smart choice for the game they're trying to make. Lo and behold. But I do hear what you're saying.
Yeah. It's looking really promising. Like, I think they have found a very good balance of the hardcore versus the arcadey. Like, that
Yeah.
seems to be what a lot of devs have been trying to find, but they always seem to push more towards the hardcore. Like, they sort of market it as like, this is accessible, and then you get in, you're like, is it though? The rounds are 4 hours
Is it
long.
though?
Each
You
game
will
is
see.
4 hours long. And it's not that I don't appreciate games like Arma Reforger, because like it is a really cool game, but it's a different vibe completely, right? And you're like, where is the in between Arma Reforger and Battlefield now? You know, like there's something
Yeah.
in between there.
Yeah. Like I played Hell Let Loose Vietnam, and I had a match that was an hour and a half long. It's like, this is a marathon of a game, right?
Yeah.
Like at this point, I'm like, holy, this is getting almost too long, right?
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of Hell Let Loose, it got delayed
It
by
did.
2 months, I want to say. And
I think it comes out in August now.
yeah, I saw some of the feedback where they're like, only 2 months? Like you're gonna need to spend a bit more time on that. What's funny though is so there's the next batch of DLSS 4.5 games have been announced, you know, the new games to support. And honestly, DLSS 4.5 is really cool. I think it's like the apex of DLSS tech, where you're just like, wouldn't it be cool if it was like super adaptable and did all this cool shit? And it's like, yeah, that's what 4.5 does. It's not inventing all the new weird DLSS 5 crap like the face stuff. It's just improving the current tech to a really impressive degree. So Hell Let Loose Vietnam is getting DLSS 4.5, which I'm not going to argue for using DLSS to fix performance problems, but if it's there, it is there.
It's there. Yeah. I mean, they're going to need more than just performance, though. There was a lot of issues for that beta. I think it was smart for them to delay. Like it needed more time. So, especially if it's not going to be a early access and it's going to be 1.0, which you need to put more, your best foot forward for that. Speaking of releases, though, War Dogs announced that beta testing or alpha testing is going really well, and we're actually going to move up our release schedule.
It's pretty badass. Like, this is the first time in history that any game has ever moved their release date up.
But the thing is that was before the Summer Game Fest, and I was like, oh, they're totally going to show something at the Summer Game Fest, and they did, but also reveal when the early access is. If they're like, we're moving it up, that must mean that they're close. No, unless I'm wrong, and they've shown the release date. But yeah, unfortunately, we still have to wait on when the release date actually is.
Yeah, unfortunately, but I that game looks so promising. I'm more just like, please just take whatever time you need, dial it in. It's already looking incredible. There's nothing glaring that sticks out in the gameplay that I'm like, oh, you gotta fix that, guys. No way. Some of the like chopper takedowns look a little fake-ish, but I mean, we're spoiled.
I don't mind that.
I don't mind either. Yeah. We're so spoiled from like Battlefield VFX being ridiculous, where you're just like, oh my God. Like they spent the whole budget.
And they are incredible.
Yeah, they do look, when a jet gets taken down and like crashes in a field or some trees, you're like, that looked incredible. How did they even do all that?
For sure.
Squad is also getting DLSS 4.5 as an update, which I haven't played Squad in a while, but that was one of the bigger problems with the game, is it just performing really chunky, so you're like, it is cool that this is super realistic, but I'm using medium graphics just to maintain 60 FPS over here, and that's kind of how it always felt. So that's good. It's good to see these higher end features coming out to more games. Again, not saying they need to solve performance problems with DLSS 4.5, but it's such an impressive tech. I just want to see it in every game, because there's almost no downsides to using it.
I praise.
Yeah. Shadow Play getting 240 FPS capture, so you can show your super slow-mo esports clips now, Matt. You'd be like, look how I headshotted this dude.
Yes, that's exactly what I want that for. Yeah. My esports montage videos.
I'm excited about that news because it's just capture technology. Do you remember when we started YouTube, Matt?
Yes, it was miserable. Yes.
there was There was like, it was a gated experience because you had to have a computer powerful enough to be able to just record gameplay while playing a video game, which at that time was like, would you like to reserve 40% of your CPU for recording stuff? And it just tanked game performance just horribly. And then on top of that, you had to like download codecs and figure out the right format. And you're like, what are you using? How'd you get it to look so good? All this stuff. And you're just like, I think I went through like 5 different recording softwares one year, just trying to find the right one and just being frustrated with all of them. And
the one I used, I think, for the longest time was Fraps.
Yeah, Fraps was a thing for a while. And that one performed like garbage too. Like,
it was terrible.
Yeah.
It's awful.
They had like Game Claw and some other things that were like,
I actually used Shadowplay a lot for recording. That was really solid for a while. And now
Shadowplay was
OBS.
I think I used Shadowplay also for like a very long period of time until OBS finally like started being good. And then OBS just dominated. But I do like, it's funny now seeing Shadowplay being like, one, it's like 0 overhead. So it's like, it's almost nothing to record like 4K footage now. And now you can do like 240 FPS. You can have like AI noise suppression on your microphone, all this other crazy, amazing stuff. I'm like, that is pretty cool. It's neat.
It is neat. Yeah.
I'm jealous that it didn't exist when I started, but you know what? We got, that's why we were, we didn't have as much competition.
We paved the way. That's what we'll say. We paved the way.
Well, it's like companies like Elgato didn't exist when we started, right? Now there's like an entire company and brand built around providing streaming and capture gear for people.
Yep.
And back in the day, we were just like,
capture of console was misery, dude. It was terrible.
Yeah, it was the worst. Anybody who could figure it out had like wires going everywhere and
it was really bad.
They had capture cards back in the day that were like some of those Black Magic capture cards that were intended for like professional use, but you could like rig a console into it and that would give you the best possible capture, or you could run a monitor through it for pass through. That was the other thing, is it would cause latency if you captured through it. So you'd be like, hey, you want like 100 millisecond latency while playing a video game? Like, no, that's miserable. So you could buy these like $4,000 Black Magic cards that were meant for like industry stuff that would do pass through, and they were a nightmare. Their software sucked. It was just like a huge pain in the butt to get it all working. I don't miss any of that, dude. Don't miss it. Now you can
We've come a long ways.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice that there's a market for it now, and we can just get our stuff working super easy. So this podcast is airing on Wednesday, but Tuesday, the day before this airs, we're getting Cairo Bazaar.
Oh yeah. You
excited about that?
I'm excited. Yeah, I'm genuinely excited.
For Battlefield 6, I should preface. Yeah. The new map.
I think DICE has been doing really solid for the last couple updates, and it'd be nice to get all the updates in one go. It's probably my only complaint now. Cairo Bazaar, exciting stuff. Looks good from the visuals we've seen. They showed a kind of like a one-to-one comparison of like how they're changing some of the environments, but it's no longer blue, which is too bad. I say this sarcastically because I don't actually like the blue filter from Battlefield 3. But yeah, fingers crossed that this is a nice remake. And hopefully they took some creative liberty, because as much as I enjoyed that map back in the day, it is literally 3 lanes. Yeah. And for 64 players with very little way of like moving around the map, it can get a little frustrating.
You are not wrong. Especially, do you remember playing that map in Rush? Or is that what the game was called? I think it was Rush, wasn't it?
It was Rush. I don't think we didn't have Breakthrough back in Battlefield 3 days.
So Rush, and you would all go down one street for like a significant portion of the game. And you're like, this is a lot of players for one alley. And it wasn't that street was broken up into multiple corridors. It was just like one street.
It was a single street.
And I remember just holding that sometimes and like seeing these teams really trying to push through. You'd see like whole groups of guys, they'd be smoking and doing all this stuff to try and get through. And you're just popped up on something with a machine gun, just mowing them down. And you're just like, I feel bad for them. Like, what are they going to do?
Yeah, as much as I love Battlefield 3, a lot of the maps I felt like they were designed for a smaller player count.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in a lot of ways they were, because console had less players on the map, right? So when people say that one of their favorite maps was Damavan Peak, I'm like, Damavan Peak was peak if you played on 32 players max for Rush or even Conquest, right? Like, it was a terrible Conquest map. But if you played, and most servers were 64, right? Because if you're playing, that's just what people did. Yeah. And so, yeah, those maps just devolve into pure chaos because they were not wide enough. There just wasn't enough flanking routes. And Damavan Plus, I think Grand Bazaar suffered because of it. So, getting back to my point, I think it will hopefully they've taken some creative liberty to maybe add a couple of extra little routes to get around.
I'm sure they have. I would be very surprised if they haven't.
We saw some destruction that they added where a guy busts through a wall, and that I don't remember doing that in the game. I don't remember doing that in Battlefield 3 to get a flanking route.
Yep. Definitely a changed map to some degree. We don't know to what extent, but really excited about that one because that was for a long time one of my top maps because I felt it offered like very obvious but still decent flanking routes and connector lanes. It looked like a Counter-Strike map almost when you look at it from above, but it did play well when you had the right player counts and on Conquest, and you kind of had very obvious but fun strategy where you're like, okay, we're going to flank. They know we're flanking. We got to win this fight. And if we win it, then we can get through onto the flag.
We can push forward. Yeah.
That had some really fun, clutch gameplay moments that most Battlefield maps don't really offer because you mostly go to objectives being completely clueless of what kind of resistance you're going to run into. But because of the predictability of Bazaar, you're like, okay, if we win this fight, we're probably going to be able to flank around behind these guys and like just mop up 2 or 3 squads of people. It's going to be awesome. And so that was always really fun. And I like that. And BF3 did a lot of maps like that were kind of smaller Middle Eastern style city maps that played really intensely and fun. So I'm excited for this. They sort of
bring back Strike at Karkan Dice, and I'm yours.
I know. And Langkang Dam, right? No.
Yeah.
Wasn't the island in Langkang Dam a capture point? I believe on one of the modes. Yeah, maybe it was 100%. Conquest. It's worst map ever, dude.
It's terrible.
I remember taking off in the helicopter and getting shot by like their AA instantly. Tank in their deployment. From
their side.
Yeah. I was just like, what is that? I'm getting locked on 10 feet off the ground. Who made this map? This is terrible.
Yeah. If the island in the center was bigger, maybe it would work, but nope.
Yeah.
Like if it like was like higher up so it could actually block line of sight. Nope. It was just bad.
That whole map was there for a trailer clip of the dam breaking and a boulder really rolling onto the map. And you're like, okay, what about the rest of it? They're like, don't worry about it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Don't worry about balancing this in any way whatsoever.
Yep.
Yeah. Thoughts on Marvel Wolverine?
Look cool. Bloody as all hell. Man,
yeah.
It's
a Wolverine game. I mean, there's no way around it. You got
I know
spikes
that,
for
like,
weapons.
Damn. Yeah. Apparently you can actually, from what I've heard, didn't confirm it myself, but you can turn off the blood if you want to. So if it's like just too over the top.
Why?
You can... well, I have actually a feeling YouTubers and stuff like that will turn it off for monetization.
Yeah. Dang.
Yep.
That's smart on them. Yeah. I like how more and more games are coming with the like streamer friendly soundtracks and stuff like that now. Yeah. I don't like that as a content creator, I have to play games without the cool licensed music because it's obviously better, but it is
but
nice.
The trailer was dope. I mean, it looked cool. We'll see how engaging it is to play as. I like how he tries to sneak around. It's like, dude, you're Wolverine. What do you mean? Yeah. You're not a sneaky boy. You're literally the dude who yells at the top of his lungs and charges on in like an absolute lunatic you are, right? There was that. Let's be real. There was that too.
There have some of the movies, and I haven't read enough X-Men It's been so long since I read X-Men comic books, but Wolverine will like, especially when he's like more like Logan, dressed up as a civilian and walking around, he'll try and sneak into a place, do some covert stuff. It's not completely crazy. But I see like it would be really cool if Marvel Wolverine could become sort of a God of War style franchise where you're just like, he's so badass as a fighter and like appealing as just like his mechanics and what makes him fun as a superhero that I could easily see them turning it into a much bigger thing,
His regeneration thing was really neat because he dies. That's what I'm really curious to see how they handle is like what's the lose state, right? How do you take too much damage and your character just falls over and passes out and like it's Wolverine, right? Like his whole thing is he doesn't die, right? But so I'm curious to see how they handle that. But also it was cool to see him die and then he like regenerates in front of you and he goes back up to full HP. So I think it's like a second chance kind of life thing, which I thought was dope. That was really cool to see.
Yeah. I'm not too worried about them screwing with the lore of it because, I mean, he's either invincible or he's not. Like, I mean, it would be so boring if he just never died.
Well, I don't think I think there will be a he's dead, you lose state. I'm just curious to see how they handle it.
Yeah. I'm curious to hear about, well, you've played a bunch of stuff, but I kind of want to hear about Mortal Shell 2 beta. I didn't realize that it came out. And
yeah, I played Mortal Shell demo and I didn't like it. I thought it was really rough. And
the original one.
The original.
From like I ain't playing early to mid 2000s or something. It's a pretty old game, isn't it?
It's not that old. No. So you're thinking of a different franchise, I think.
Oh, okay,
Mortal Shell is a Souls-like.
Yeah. Okay, never mind. Early 2010s then?
2021 is when the first game came out.
What? No way.
Yeah. Google it.
I am Googling it right now. What? Really?
Yeah. It hasn't been that long.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely was thinking of a different game then. Okay. So what did you? So you didn't like the first one?
I did not like the first game, the demo at least. It looks like, according to reviews, the first one is also very mixed, right? Like, and I'm not surprised. Second one felt way better. The combat was more fluid. I felt like I was much more in control over like the character, and the enemies around me felt more responsive, and everything. It felt like a Souls game. It was like I'm playing, obviously not Dark Souls. This isn't, From Software game. It's not to that caliber, but it's competent, and it felt good. Couple complaints was that it's because it's a beta. There's clearly going to be beta issues. There wasn't like really any big bosses that I fought. Like there was one or two kind of pseudo bosses, and they were all right. But I was kind of hoping that there was going to be, you've kind of fight through the gauntlet of these lesser enemies, and then you eventually leads to the big bad boss of that region. I didn't really ever get that, which was too bad. But that's probably because it was just a beta.
They don't want to ruin the big boss fight quite
Could
yet.
be. Yeah, it could be.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. But atmosphere was solid. Animation quality, huge step up, in my opinion. They definitely have learned a lot of lessons from their first game, and I think that it has potential.
Cool, man. I'm curious about it. I didn't realize that the beta was launching, but I do want to play it because my neighbor is the guy who's designing the game. I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh, that's right. I think you mentioned that. Yeah,
I should super play it so I can be like, hey, played your game. It's pretty cool.
Played your game. It sucks.
Yeah, I got some feedback for you.
Yeah, I got some feedback as a Souls veteran.
It's too hard for sure. I couldn't just button mash my way through the boss fights, so 0 out of 10.
You will not be able to do that. They do pull off some pretty silly shenanigans, and this is also true for Souls, where like a boss will go for like, I'm about to attack you, and then it will slam down, and the character model will slide across like the map and like hit you. And you're like, oh, come on. There's no way he had the thrust of his legs to get over there. This is silly. So you just kind of have to watch out for that. But besides, I can look past those kind of things.
Yeah. Difficulty-wise, you said the first game was also really hard and you were not.
It was hard because it wasn't responsive, and I felt like I the character wasn't doing what I wanted them to do, and it just felt really clunky. There was something about the game that just was not clicking with me.
Yeah.
So,
gotcha.
but yeah, it is a Souls game, so it's gonna be challenging.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you. And this is. Would you say after playing it, it's like something you're definitely going to play through at launch?
I will. It's higher on my list now because of it, for sure. I don't know if I'll play through it, but it is much higher on my list than it was before.
Cool. Marathon Season 2, little bit of a rough launch on day 1, but other than that, people seem to be pretty positive about it. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, they're doing a free couple weeks, which I think was smart because it needs it. Mm-hmm. And they added in the night map, the night version of Night Marsh. So, well, I guess it's just Night Marsh now.
Yeah.
And it's super creepy. I played only solo. I think I really just got to like find some friends and message them, be like, hey, we should group up, because the game is 100% designed around group play.
Yeah.
But the solo experience was enjoyable. So every so often you'll hear like whispers and you're like, what the hell was that? And one time, I think it was organic, I heard whispers and then I heard footsteps, and I think the game, it just lined up this way, but it was another player. And I was like, did you do that? Because it really scared me.
Yeah.
Because I was like, did it organically do this? Also, they have moments where enemies will run across a doorway and it's pitch black. And so all you have is your flashlight, and you'll just see this movement out of the doorway, and you'll run out there and there's nothing there. And you're like, what are you doing, Bungie? This is creepy.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I was like, they actually added in horror to it, which was fun. The new game mode, the way it works is you have to go and kill the UESC to pick up credits from them. And then you can use those credits to either progressively get harder content or use them to open up boxes to get cool rewards that are scattered around the map. And you also need them to extract. So you go over to a beacon, you put the points, the five of them in there, and then it will actually activate one of the nearby exfils. No other way of getting out. To my knowledge.
That's pretty hard.
Yeah. So it's a little bit different. So it wasn't that challenging, but it was different, and I appreciated that.
Okay.
It also means you have to like actually shoot, and you have to engage the UESC. You can't just lurk around and avoid all combat the entire time, which, gets people involved. It gets people, to attack.
That's a solid system for forcing PvE stuff, and having PvE being a major sort of audio trap or trigger for other players too, and kind of encouraging combat and saying, hey, you can't just be stealth the whole time and just lurk, So yeah, that's cool. I like that idea.
They added in a cradle system now, which you're like, what, the cradle? It's essentially a way to progress throughout the season, where you will be using leftover gear that you don't want to fuel the cradle, and that will give you points that you can then put into your, I don't know, skills, not really skills, but like your different stat points. So if you wanted to put it into like endurance, you put enough points into endurance, you'll unlock a passive, and that passive will allow you to regenerate your stamina a little bit faster than you could before. It essentially allows you to create builds inside of your characters, which I thought was neat. You can respec it whenever you want. There's no respecing cost or anything like that. So it's really just the creative freedom for you to, if you're like, I want to play really aggressive and I want to have a lot of movement, then you can just put all your points into movement and have that experience, which I thought was nice.
I love free respecing for the record.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. It's just more fun.
I don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't understand why games. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of quality of life since release. They've clearly been listening to the player base. It's an ongoing game that's getting constantly updated. So will this save it? No, I don't think this is going to be the update that gets everyone to come back and play and become the next big title. But anyone who thought that Season 2 was going to be the thing to save the game, I think, was not judging how game development works at all. Because I saw people online who were comparing the Steam charts as they do. It's like, did you really expect them to turn the boat a completely different direction and save this, game in one season?
Season 2 is
like,
not that epic of an update, and it's not intended to be. It's an update, but it's incremental towards bigger stuff. So
right,
yeah, would Bungie.
It's a good update.
Yeah,
it's a good update, but the people that are dooming on it because it's like this is clearly not enough. Yeah, it's not enough to completely turn the boat in a different direction. Game development that I've heard described is it's like a giant freighter ship where you can make adjustments along the way, but you're not going to be able to do a 360 or a 180 on a dime, right? Like it's going to take time, and it's going to take time. So I hope they stick with it. I don't want this obviously to be, because there's the whole Destiny 3 thing, right? I obviously want Destiny 3 as well, but I think I would like to live in a world where we could have a really fun extraction shooter like Marathon that gets a lot of content, and also a Destiny 3. But maybe I live in a fantasy realm. I don't know.
I think they can get there. I believe I want Bungie to persist, and it's interesting because you could say like similar things about, say, the finals or something, where like the player counts on the finals. Granted, I haven't checked them in a little while, but they're not like epic AAA mega success player numbers. But they also built that game, I believe, with a smaller team, a more kind of concise development budget, and sort of a real world expectation of what the game could do. And I think Bungie may have to sort of build their Marathon team around that idea, because the money's been spent on development, whether that was a huge loss for them or not, which I think it was. But
I'm sure it was.
If you can now consolidate that dev team, look at what revenue the game is bringing in versus what you're spending per month, consolidate that, hone that in so that you can still make meaningful progress and changes and seasons to the game, then you can have a successful product that could maybe, if you give it enough time to build out its content and lore and player base, could have a much bigger comeback at some point down the road. But it's
going to be a while though.
Yeah.
Because you look at any of the games that Hunt Showdown had a rough start. Rainbow Six Siege had but to get to the point where it's now in a place where they were like successful probably took a long ass time. Like it takes a while to grow that base, and it takes a while to make those changes to reach a larger player base.
Well, and even then you could argue that Hunt Showdown never hit those like mega numbers, right? Like
no, but it did have like a slow beginning and then raise. That was kind of I'm more describing the upward trajectory of its player base. Kind of, just like Rainbow Six Siege. Rainbow Six Siege became mega successful, became one of the biggest games in the entire world. But
yeah. And I think the only way that Hunt would have gotten to where it is now is if they had a good, smaller, focused team where the budget made sense for the amount of players and revenue that was coming in. And that's why players have enjoyed so many years of fun Hunt content over the years to make it a good game. Now, Matt, I hear that you raided Sofia. What is this?
Yeah. So, Sand Raiders of Sofia. I think I talked about this before in a previous podcast, but it is a Sea of Thieves, but Sand. Think of it that way.
Yeah.
So it's an extraction. Yeah. It's an extraction game where you go in with loot. You go in with a walker or a trampler, it might be called. Basically a sand walker, right? It's got 4 legs. You slowly move around the map with it.
And you can build it up to do stuff, right? Like different things.
Yeah. So you can use their blueprints, or you can create one of your own, and you can make it an abomination. You kind of have to work within the confines of the game, right? You can't just like make a giant, maybe you can make a giant tower, but I don't think so. And then you fight other walkers that you find, other players. And you've got cannons, different strengths and weaknesses, depending on what cannon you bring on in. There's like a shotgun, a 40 millimeter, and 80 millimeter. I'm sure there's going to be more when you progress. And
net
you
launchers?
Can have these.
No,
I didn't see net launchers.
Okay.
But it is this like constant kind of like back and forth where you're trying to, take out their legs to slow them down if they're trying to run away, or take out their generator to literally blow up the entire thing. Maybe you take out their weapons so that they're disabled and they have to repair them. You take them out so they have to respawn, right? It's a very interesting experience, and it's got a fun loop to it, but it is also indie, and it is also very, very janky on top of that.
They're trying to do a lot
they're trying to do a lot.
What looks like a small indie budget. And you're like, okay, well, some areas are going to be not as strong as others.
Yeah, and you do feel that. The loop is you go in, you try to go to a POI, a big place. There's going to be like some zombie creatures that you fight. I don't know why they're there, but you fight them. You get the loot that's around. You bring that back to your hauler, your walker, and then you try to extract, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can steal other people's loot, but that's the entire loot, right? Is the loop is to get loot and get out. The twist on it is that you do have that kind of Sea of Thieves experience on top of it. Speaking of the jank, though, I had some incredible fights with other players where we were going against, I was with my friend, and it was just the two of us, and we went against a team of 3. And we were winning, but they rammed us at the end, and we had like all their guns disabled, but it was really cool. And then I noticed like, oh, there was someone running around on our ship. And I was like, is that you? Is that you? Are you on the helm? And my friend says, no, it's not me. And so I proceed to shoot him in the back, right? It was him. He either misheard me or whatnot. There's normally a marker above your head, and there wasn't a marker over his head. And so I killed him on accident, and then that snowballed into, they put like a bomb apparently like on our base, and I tried running away with it, but it was just so massive, it just blew everything up. It was like, oh, okay. So it was that one thing snowballed to us eventually losing, which was incredibly frustrating. It's like, you can't get an icon over your player's head to be reliable and consistent. Like that's rough. That's bad. Really rough. Yeah, that's bad. So stuff like that, where it's like, this should not be, and that was happening pretty regularly. I'm like, is that you? Is that you? Because the icons were just disappearing for whatever reason. You'd have other janky moments just like with controls and things not working properly. So it's a really interesting game. Like it's cool. If you like Sea of Thieves, but you wanted something a little bit different, it's got a little sauce to it, but you also have to go into it knowing that it's going to be a little rough around the edges. Yeah, for sure.
I think there's a lot more games to explore in that space, and I think sand is an interesting idea. You can easily see the game being hugely successful if all the mechanics and features were working really well and tightly. So hopefully they make enough money through, is it early access right now?
I think it's about to release in a couple. The reason why I'm harping on just like an icon popping up, because I think it's coming out in a couple of days. This was like a stress test, and I believe it launches in a couple of days, and it's not an early access. I think it's a 1.0.
Okay.
I could be wrong about that though.
Might have been a server slam. Is that what it was?
Yeah, it says server slam. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they usually do a server slam before launching the game to get the servers dialed in.
Yeah.
Like the concept. I remember playing this game way back in the day. This was before, basically we had Sea of Thieves style games, but similar concept, but with an airship. And so like it was airships, and you'd be like trying to get above and below, and then firing cannons.
Guns Vickers.
Yeah. Super cool concept, but it didn't really have the Sea of Thieves world to it yet. Like I could totally see a game like that also existing and being a lot of fun,
Yeah, for sure.
So I doubt this is the last form of a Sea of Thieves type games. I think we're going to see a lot more of them.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Yep. Like the concept. Hopefully they can get it dialed in a little bit better for a more stable launch. But if there's enough people that are into the idea, then hopefully they'll get the budget and the funding from sales to update the game and dial it in as much as it needs to be.
Because there's just something too where you got a walker and you're just blasting each other back and forth and trying to hit the right parts, right? That there's a dopamine hit there that.
Well, and also just the idea of you having, so like, it's always fun building a base with your friends, right? Because you're like, let's put this over there, and look what I found. We can add it to our base. You're working together to build something big and stronger than you individually, and that's always a fun concept. And now when that base is a mobile mech that comes with you on missions and backs you up, and the stuff you build for aids you in your missions and fights and all that stuff, you're like, oh yeah, it's a great formula. Like, I love it.
Yeah, I agree. Agreed.
Yeah. Maybe not super surprising, but at Computex, all these tech trade shows, gaming is way less front and center than it used to be, and it's all AI stuff now.
Surprise!
and all the upcoming hardware, whether it's, GPUs, CPUs, monitors, whatever, is all more like, look at the AI stuff you can do with it, as opposed to look at the gaming stuff you can do. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little sort of spiteful because I'm like, gaming is what got you here. Gaming is literally what got Nvidia to develop the cards that became good at AI, and now gaming's like this tiny little subset of the tech center. And you're
the future is now, old man. You got to change.
I know. We just gotta go.
I agree.
Yeah. So I mean,
Completely
it's
agree.
not that I don't think some of the hardware around AI stuff isn't interesting or cool. It's just like, games are still a thing too, guys. Like, all the money going into it and all how expensive consoles are getting and computer hardware is getting, and we're like, okay, well, we're still making GTA 6, but like GTA 7, is it going to run on the exact same hardware because nobody can afford anything better and we don't see any slowdown in this? And is this going to be like what happened to cars during COVID, where the price on everything just went up like 10 grand and now we're just stuck
at that level,
in this
it just
era?
never goes down.
Yeah. Our computers, are they going to be like, well, people have been paying $1,000 for a console, so I guess consoles cost $1,000 now.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
Which is going to suck. I hope that's not the case, but we'll see.
I agree.
Yeah. And the markets are going to do whatever, when they're forced to all universally increase prices, so they're all suffering the same. Then they dial in the new price base and they're like, hey, we can make this work. Let's just sell that. But
yeah,
we'll see. I think the one angle on consoles versus cars is that you sell the console to get a percentage of the game store sales. So you want to sell as many consoles as possible. So I think that's still in the interest of Sony and Microsoft and Steam, who is probably going to be a future, powerhouse in this market. They want to get as many people playing games on hardware as possible. So at that point, I would hope that they would bring the prices down to sell as many. But we will see. I watched a really good movie last night, actually, called Remarkably Bright Creatures, which is based on a book. One. It's a Netflix movie. I don't think it went to theaters. Maybe it did, but I thought it was really good. There's it's a movie that deals with a lot of really dark and sad ideas, but it does it in a way where I've seen so many movies where they're like, isn't this situation super sad? The end. And then you're like, now I feel sad. And I just watched characters suffer. And like, that seemed like that was the point of the movie, is to just make me feel sad about something. And
that's fine.
And that's fine. But what I liked about this movie is that it handled some really dark subjects, and this is it's not sci-fi or anything. It's just a story about characters and sort of them growing and learning about themselves. But I'm trying to think of how I can explain the premise. It's sort of this guy comes into this town and he's looking for his dad. His mom died, and he's a young, maybe mid-20s or late 20s type dude, and he's just sort of soul searching, and he never knew his dad as a kid, and his mom sort of gave him a name, and so he's trying to hunt down his dad. And so it's sort of, that's the premise, but there's a lot of really interesting elements here, and one of them is that there's an octopus in an aquarium where he ends up working as a janitor, and the octopus also monologues his observations of the people in the movie. So the octopus, bizarre. It's very weird. Like, the octopus is actually the smart one, and he's like, oh, these people and their bad communication and their relationship problems and all this stuff. And he's sort of like, I got to fix this for them. And so it's sort of this cute story about the octopus, like, solving or trying to help them figure out their lives in like a very subtle way. But he doesn't have any like supernatural powers or anything. He's just like,
I mean, the supernatural power is that we can understand him and talk.
the
And he can talk
audience can understand, but he never talks to characters in it. So you're just sort of hearing the octopus's inner monologue about his observations of humans and our inability to communicate with each other effectively. And I thought it was
so cool if animals were like talking at that complex of a level amongst themselves, you know, like who's this asshole running up to? What the hell does he want? Oh, he wants to give us food. Oh,
yeah. That's a cool idea, but as soon as you explore it to any depth, you're like, they would rebel against us and kill us all. Like they would organize, Matt. There would be a giant revolution before we knew.
There'd be a gigantic octopus human war. We wouldn't be able to go into the waters.
Yeah, in the dolphins and the sharks would kill all of us, and then like at one point, like all of a sudden, all our dogs would just turn on us and just like kill us all. And be like, okay, cool.
It's pretty
great.
Rough.
Yeah. Love the idea though. Fun idea. So
a good movie. Big recommend.
I highly recommend Remarkably Bright Creatures.
Okay.
Cute, deals with a dark subject, but in a way that I felt good and positive afterwards, where I was like, that was some heavy stuff happened in that, and it's about people dealing with tragedy, essentially.
Yeah.
But not with too many movies end tragedy with just like, and then it's over, and you're like, okay, I guess just tragedy occurred, and like maybe there's a slight silver lining, but this movie was more of a feel-good film, which I appreciated them sort of dealing with that.
Walking that line.
Yeah.
I hear you.
I might be bailing from Silo as a show. I don't know. It's slowed down again, Matt. It's slowed down.
It does. It's not a fast-paced show. So
I just having trouble with the speed of it because I feel like I can see the whole plot of an episode, and then it's like,
and then it happens,
and then it happens.
Like, oh, okay.
I'm like, okay. Like we could have
just stop trying to predict the future and just watch it. I'm
not trying to predict it. People, they what do you call it in movies when they
foreshadow?
Foreshadow. Thank you. The foreshadowing is so heavy-handed or so obvious that you're just like, there's a scene in it where you know a character's going to do something bad to another guy, and then he monologues, and they give you like I swear it goes for like 3-5 minutes.
What season are you on?
First season, Matt.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. It was so predictable. I'm just watching it. Like, I know what he's going to do. He's going to do this thing to this person. He's pretending like he's not going to do it, but he's all just leading. And it's really, really
if you're close to the end of season 1, I'd recommend waiting until the end of season 1 and then deciding from there. But, it's your time. Do what you want with it.
Well, it's just the reason why I'm watching it is I've heard so many people say good things about the show. So I'm like, okay, well, let's try it out. And I'm just like kind of coming along.
I like the show, but I also
pace.
understand like it's got pacing issues. Like there's no doubt about it. But I'm also someone who just loves world building and loves just existing in cool worlds. And it's definitely a cool world.
I do like their world a lot. And I do want to know. That's the thing is I do want to know the answers. I want to understand why they're there and what's going on with everything. And it's a fun idea and concept. And I'm just like, all right, we're dealing with like electoral politics. I'm like, how about the outside world and why you're here?
Because it's building to something, Level.
Okay.
It's building.
Yeah. It's sort of like, it reminds me of Snowpiercer, but like what I liked about Snowpiercer is it's so sort of Snowpiercer is so silly that you don't get caught up on the logistics of the world too much. And you're more engaged in the politics of the internal environment of the train, right? Because it's this ridiculous train that just goes forever in the snow. And you're like, that's an insane concept and ludicrous. So you don't spend any time thinking about how ridiculous that is. You just focus on the politics. So with Silo, I'm like, either it's about the outside tech and the crazy world and this weird dystopian sort of society, or it's about the politics and the character. And it's like they're blending it together. But sometimes I'm like, I want to learn more about the world and less about the politics.
Yeah, I hear you.
Anyway,
I hear you.
Silo rant over. You read or watch anything good?
I picked up and been reading more Dungeon Crawler Carl, the most recent book, and man, it's fun. It's just fun.
Yeah.
Fun ride. Love my Carl, my Princess Donut. Just the best. Love them so much.
I have no idea what any of that means, but I did go to Powell's, the world famous bookstore in Portland, last 2 weekends ago, and they had a giant Dungeon Crawler Carl display there, and it's coffee mugs and books and T-shirts, and I was like, what's going on with this Dungeon Crawler Carl?
I would not be surprised if Dungeon Crawler Carl becomes much more a mainstream, everyone knows it kind of franchise
in the
next couple of years.
Based on that display alone, I was like, what do...
Yeah. Especially in like book culture, everyone knows about Dungeon Crawler Carl. It's incredibly popular, so not surprising.
Cool. I showed my kids Free Solo, the climbing documentary, and they loved it, and that was fun. And now they want to climb everything, and everywhere they go, they're like, "Oh, I'm climbing."
What are you doing up there? Get off the! What are you?
Yeah. It's cool. It's fun for them to watch it, but yeah, I forgot how much that show deals with, like, basically Alex. The documentary deals with Alex Honnold, the world famous climber, just sort of like accepting the fact that he could die, and like why he still persists with this crazy sport that has such an insanely high mortality rate. It's just like, I just want to do it, but it's sort of explain, and it was interesting to see my younger kids sort of like
trying to understand and grapple with that.
Yeah, grapple like somebody who would risk so much for their passion like that.
Right.
And it is weird because he's not a normal dude. He's an outlier for sure.
Yeah.
Which
as he should be.
As he should be. Yeah. I hope not everybody is trying to free solo El Capitan, because there wouldn't be a lot of people left.
Yeah.
But it is. Did you see that documentary, Matt?
I did not know.
I still think it's one of the best documentaries ever made. Like, it's
nice. It's just that good.
It's so good. It's incredible. It's one of the best. It does one of the best jobs of showing the scale also of what he's climbing, where it's harder to do that in a 2D medium, essentially, right? Because you're like, okay, I have to somehow show the distance from the top of the cliff to the trees below, and it's like, how do you there's a bunch of different ways. They do an incredible job of it, where you're just like, you feel the gravity of what he's doing, and it really is insane,
literally.
It's pretty wild stuff. It's such a good documentary. You gotta see it, Matt. That's your homework. All right. It's your homework.
It's my homework. All right, I'll try to do my homework.
Yeah.
One thing I do not miss from school is homework. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, man, I know a teacher, and I'm always asking him about what modern school is like, because he teaches high school. I'm just like, what is even happening nowadays in high school? And
I saw a really concerning video, and who knows, it was some random guy talking, and he says he's an expert on this stuff, but he's basically insinuating that when schools adopt a more digital format for teaching their students, it goes poorly for the kids in the sense of intelligence, attention rate goes down, understanding goes down. They're starting to change tests and stuff for reading comprehension to actually go around like kids now attention span. It's like, that seems problematic. I feel like that shouldn't be a thing. So like when I was in school for the SATs, you'd have to read like a page on like something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you would have questions about that reading comprehension. Apparently now it's you read a sentence and then you have to answer a question about that sentence. And I'm like, damn, that is, I mean, I guess that's reading comprehension, but that seems wild to me. So yeah, little concerning in that regard.
Yeah. Well, and also like in high school, so like your phone has now become like the ultimate tool for anything,
everything
and anything. So that's an interesting angle too, is like you're sitting there listening to somebody tell you about something, and you can like fact check them. You can find more information about what they're saying. You can do all, like, it's just a weird idea, I still think there's huge value, obviously, in having a in-person teacher tell you stuff, because we have the evidence to show that doing things remotely and digitally are way less effective, but it's hard to imagine a future in which we aren't going more and more digital and having these tools affect us in more and more ways.
Because I'm obviously not well versed in this, but I feel like there will need to be find a balance, right? Where we find a nice level somewhere in the middle, because people need to learn how to use technology, right? You don't want kids to fall behind in that respect, because they're going to need to join a job force where you're going to obviously need to be competent with technology. But also, you don't want to so reliant on it that you can't think for yourself, right? You need to be able to think through problems without having to be like, hey, Chat GPT, what is this, right? It's like, you should be able to use your brain to do that, right? Like, that's an important skill to have. So it's going to be probably a little rocky road coming soon, and we'll have to hopefully work through it.
Yeah. I will say, on one of the brighter sides of it, and things that I've observed, whether it's my kids or other people's kids or whatever, is that a lot of the tools now, whether it is like GPT or just apps or learning apps or stuff like that, they are force multipliers in a lot of ways, where you're just like, whoa, kids understand this way better at an earlier age than they used to.
I can see that.
And so if it's used correctly, if you give a child a tablet with a learning app on it and be like, you can do lesson 6, and they're all designed now to be more engaging, and the kids are like learning math and not even realizing that they're learning math, because it's fun. That's great. But if you hand your kid a tablet and you're like, play Fruit Ninja, like, obviously they're not going to.
Right. And unfortunately, I think that's what's happening more than the other way.
Yeah. So you have to have sort of like responsible parents guiding the technology. But
and this comes from someone who doesn't have kids themselves. So I'm speaking from
but it makes sense to you, right? It makes sense. I'm not saying things that sound like they wouldn't work. So that's from my observation, is I've seen kids that are like, there's like single parents who have to give their kid a cell phone earlier in life because they need to be able to communicate
and call them,
them earlier, who are like already really good at writing and stuff at like super young ages. And you're like, wow, like they're sending emojis and crap. Which, on one hand, I'm like, I don't know if I'd do that. But also, like, because of the circumstances, you're like, it's pretty impressive how they've adapted to technology at like such a young age.
Yeah. It's almost as if kids can be quick learners. It just depends on how they apply themselves.
Yeah. And what we're seeing now is them sort of become the sponges in a new era of technology. And you're like, holy crap, they can advance really quickly if given an environment that basically goes at the speed they want to go at. Which technology does, And school often doesn't. You're in second grade, and if you're moving faster than second grade, you got to wait till third grade, and that's that. So, yeah. Well, man, what's been occupying? So last week, I think I talked about getting a new minivan, which was exciting.
Yep, super cool.
Got the bike rack set up on that. Thank you. First family bike trip achieved.
Nice.
It was really good. My 6-year-old literally drove into a giant blackberry thorn bush, just like fully sent it into it. Like, even to the point where I was like, if I did that, like I'd be out for like days, I'd be like, don't talk to me. But
were they okay?
She recovered well.
Good.
I was surprised, but I was just watching it like, oh my God, you just fully sent it into the blackberry bush.
Kids will get distracted on bikes.
Yes.
I had a friend who ran into a rock.
Yeah. Kids on bikes.
A giant boulder. Yeah.
As soon as they get comfortable, they're like, check this out. And then the injury happens, basically. Which is fine. It's life. It's them pushing the boundaries, as long as they don't get horribly injured.
As long as they don't get horribly hurt. Yeah. That's the whole point. Yeah.
So that happened. But man, I have been researching e-mountain bikes. And I know in the biking world, there's still a little bit of tension around the subject of electric assisted bikes versus
tension.
Well, it was more when they were first coming out, and now I think there's a much higher adoption rate to the point where like even the purists are sort of like, all right, these are pretty cool.
Okay. It's like using energy, use your legs. What do you mean, kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
But the laws, and I've looked into it now, is like it's basically like they're all pedal assist. You're not pressing a button to get up the trail.
It's not
without
a motorcycle.
Doing anything. Yes, and so all the trail rules are about pedal assist e-bikes. But the idea I like about it, and what's so cool, is that I live in a place where it's got some incredible trails, like close by. Like I'm 10 minutes from some crazy good mountain bike trails, or I'm 30 minutes from some insane like Mega Vista Yosemite type views, you know. But some of those trails are like, all right, well, that's a 15-mile loop. So if you're going to do that on hiking,
it's challenging.
Yes. A 15-mile loop with maybe 1,000 or more feet elevation change, right? So that's like that's either a massive hike, a pretty intense bike ride, or a fun thing to do in an afternoon with an e-bike. And so I'm like, okay, I like that. That sounds appealing, and a decent workout. Just
you still get exercise from it.
Yeah. So I've been obsessed with researching e-bike technology because I want to get the right kind of mountain bike. And boy, oh boy, is that a can of worms, man. Bike tech is just so much there. There's so much hardware and components and testing things and trying to figure out your sizing and what weight you like and the power of the motor you want and the assist and the battery range and blah, blah, blah. So I'm trying to figure it out. If anybody in the comments is into mountain biking, let me know what you guys have landed on, because we're sort of at this. What's cool about it, Matt, is like if you used to ride bikes a lot, but you did a lot of road biking, you would definitely want a bike designed for the road. If you did a lot of mountain biking, you definitely want a mountain bike because it's got the shocks and suspension to make that a more comfortable ride. And then you could sort of get hybrids, but they weren't always that great. But now with the assist stuff, you could get a mountain bike and just ride it on the road occasionally because you're not going so much slower or so much less efficiently because you now have a lot of electrical assist. So I'm like, I really like the idea of just having a one bike for everything, predominantly mountain biking. But like, hey, if I want to do
you can use it on both. Let's be real.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean, is you can use it on both. You'll get a little more tire wear, whatever on the pavement, but nothing crazy.
I don't see you using it that much.
Yeah. Anyway, it's cool stuff. I'm really excited about getting into it. It's the next chapter of my life. Nice. Mountain biking, Matt. That's what it's going to be me.
I can't wait for the YouTube videos.
Oh, yeah. And my sponsorships, Be like, sweet. Yeah. Huffy. Whatever.
It'll be your new. It will be what was it? Airsoft. Not paintball, but airsoft videos. Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
got into that for quite a while.
Dude, I remember. I still get people asking like, "Hey, does Level Cap still play airsoft?" I'm like, "Bro, it's been like 10 years. What are you doing? Where have you been? It's been a long time."
I think that would have been a more sustainable YouTube path if I wasn't trying to also do gaming. What ended up happening is like, I was like, okay, well, on weekdays, I'll just do YouTube, and on weekends, I'll do airsoft. And then, huge surprise, Matt, I got massively burnt out trying to work 7 days a week.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just at a point in my life where like my wife was doing her PhD program, so she was crazy busy. And I was like, okay, well, you're crazy busy. I'll just fill up my time also. And yeah.
This was before the kids too, wasn't it?
Oh yeah. There's no way I'd be able to airsoft post kids.
Yeah.
And also I don't think I'd want to take them until they're significantly older. I don't want them getting riddled with BBs or like pulling up their mask in the middle of like a situation where they could lose their eyes, Yeah. Which is what happened. They'd be like, oh, I need to scratch my eye or something. You're like, you're going to, super dangerous. So.
Yep.
Anyway, Yeah, no, I definitely won't be doing mountain biking stuff on my YouTube channel, but I have been watching a lot of mountain biking YouTube channels, and they are entertaining, dude. They're fun. Guys got their little mics. They're all mic'd up while they're biking, and then they're just like in these crazy gorgeous places, or they're like biking along a cliff that's like a 500-foot drop or something.
No,
And you're like, oh, that's crazy. Look at that. And then just
that's
biking
wild.
along.
Yeah, what happens if
Basically, yeah. There's some like Utah trails where like people, there's like all these signs where it's like, you will die. You're like,
stop it.
Please don't ride this part of the trail because people die on this part of the trail.
Yeah.
That looks cool.
Super scary.
Yeah. I'd be down to maybe try that out. We'll see. I get vertigo sometimes, so that wouldn't be good.
I definitely do.
Yeah. Well, we got a lot of fun games coming up. I'm excited for them all.
September and October is going to be pretty hype.
Yeah, I mean, also July. You know, that's when my Halo's coming out. So July 28th, baby, I get to relive the glory days, and then some.
Nice.
And I assume it'll have co-op campaign, Matt. We could play through it together. Could co-op Halo.
We could do that.
Pretend to be surprised by the narrative twists, you know?
Oh, Cortana's what?
Yeah. Well, everybody, thank you for dropping by the Level With Me podcast. If you guys enjoy the show, you want to support it further, check out our Patreon in the video description where you can come by and watch us record the podcast live. And as a bonus, we hang out a little bit afterwards and talk about other things that interest us, like, you know, Formula One and the Monaco Grand Prix and all the silliness around that, which Matt is just super excited about.
Can't wait.
And otherwise, though, thank you guys for watching, and Matt will leave you with some very helpful advice.
So my helpful advice this week is I got some new shoes, and I don't know how to transition this into a cool piece of advice, but I got it from an outlet store, and outlet stores are nice and cheap. So, you know, if you want some cool, nice clothes that maybe were less desirable than the others, go to an outlet store and get yourself some shoes.
Wow. Yeah. I think you've really opened people's eyes, Matt. They're like, what? I don't have to pay full price for some expensive brand?
Yeah, it was great. I got some nice shoes. I was like, this is sick.
Yeah.
Outlet stores if you can't tell, I don't go shopping very often.
Matt, you got money. Go buy yourself some. I mean, I like outlet stores too. I do have my shopping at like Nordstrom Rack or something. And you're like, okay,
yeah, it's nice.
What did the bougie people not want? I'll take.
Yeah,
it
does make it kind of hard to find clothes though. I was like, damn, because I went there specifically for shirts and I didn't find any shirts that I wanted. But I was like, I'm gonna make my way over to the shoe section. And I was like, oh, these look pretty sick.
You know what? If I ever get into politics, I'm running on like that. Retail outlets need equal clothing for men as they do women. Because you go into any clothing store and it's like, here's the women's section. It's a candy land of anything they could ever want. And then men's section, I can browse through everything available in like 5 minutes flat. I'm like, they had like 4 shirts, you know, or whatever. And it's just, what's going on? We need more fashion, guys. We need more clothes.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So sorry, this week's advice was not great, but you know. You want new advice every week? This is what you're getting.
We do want new advice every week, Matt. You got to prepare for your motivational speaking. Those guys somehow manage to come up with new advice every week.
They don't, though. They just can repeat the same thing over and over
with
and over
like a slight twist on it, and then you're like, wow, yeah.
Or you're gonna have like gym influencers who are like, all right, this week we're gonna do something a little different this time. Instead of pulling this weight, we're gonna pull it this way. It's like, dude, it's still a bicep curl, bro.
I like the way that those guys also managed to be like, all right, guys, we're going to get into this. Like, now imagine you're running and you're running towards the thing. You know, they come up with all this crap that you're like, whoa, I'm into this now. They found the thing that is motivating me. Like, it's a skill.
I'm role playing while running.
Yeah.
I cast fireball.
Yeah. They need, oh my God, that'd be so funny. Nerdy gym people. They're like, all right, you fat nerds, get up here. Cast your magic missiles. I could see that as a future for you, Matt. That'd be fun. You could be. What's the popular app that everybody uses for their little workouts?
No, I have no idea.
There's like a really Peloton. I think that's it, right?
Yeah.
You could be a Peloton instructor for nerds.
There we go.
I like it. I'm going to submit your application.
Okay.
There's good money in that, by the way. I think
I'm
way
sure
better,
there is.
way better money than what we're doing, man.
Damn. Okay. Let's rock and roll.
Get on it.
Sign me up. I like money.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you for dropping by the podcast. We appreciate you. We'll see you next Wednesday. Bye-bye.
Take care.